Well, I think fundamentally, as I mentioned earlier, I think the concept of net zero and zero waste go hand in hand. You simply can't be continuing to put 90% of the world's plastic into management systems that are then creating more carbon dioxide through landfills or through energy recovery, or worse still, going into the ocean. At the same time, getting rid of all plastic has an incredibly detrimental effect on human life, human well-being, health systems, and on greenhouse gas emissions, because many of the replacement products are far worse from that perspective. This comes back to my initial point around jealously guarding resources. Plastic is effectively an above ground resource. When it's used properly, it can be hugely valuable to human life and health and lower emissions. I think that is unarguable. What is equally unarguable is that when we see it used in low value uses, or the waste management facilities are not well put in place, it isn't recaptured as a resource, then it's a huge problem. That's also unarguable. And so whilst I think we need to reduce and focus on the highest value uses of plastics, the reality is that where those uses make sense, and there are a lot of them, if you've had a COVID injection in your arm, then there will have been some single-use plastic that would have made a lot of sense to you. Then what we need to be able to do is to be able to capture that molecule, that resource. Some things can be mechanically recycled, and if they can, they should be. But mechanical recycling is inherently limited. It can't return things to the same quality. You can't go back to pharmaceutical grade. You can't go back to food grade in its whole. When it's been contaminated, it's very difficult. And that's where chemical recycling and mechanical recycling have a role to play together. Chemical recycling, taking things back to virgin equivalent products. So you can take material that's highly contaminated and take it back to food grade material, pharmaceutical grade material. That is where chemical recycling comes in. But it's about and, not or. And it's about doing that in combination with looking at how can we reduce, how can we make sure that we're using things in the right place, in the right ways. And it needs to then be linked back into the broader net zero agenda of what source of energy, for example, do we put behind that to make sure that it is driving to net zero waste, net zero in terms of carbon as well.